So today's video is going to be about my favorite pastime, and that is podcasting. Yes, you heard it, you seen it, you feel me. So if you watched my videos earlier this week, you see that I posted a video that was basically an introduction to how to podcast, basically by a real person. And I say a real person because it seems to be that everybody you see online is somebody that has these the hundreds and thousands of followers, or they're marketers or sellers or whatever the case may be. But I am a person that I consider to be real because everything I did it myself. I had to discover myself. I didn't have anybody show me anything how to do podcasts, and they didn't even teach me how to teach other people how to podcast. Everything I had to figure out on my own. So today's video is going to be called my basically 5 reasons why I think you need to start a podcast with your kids. Yes, I said it. With your kids. Start a podcast with your kids today. And let me just let you know one thing. This is probably one of the most creative things you can do with your kid, and it's going to be helpful. So, let me just run down my list. Now, first, you guys, if you don't know, I have taught literally 7 and 8 year olds how to podcast. And I mean, from the beginning to the end, thinking of the topics they want to talk about, research. I've taught them how to interview people, how to edit the audio, upload it to a platform, everything. I have literally taught little kids how to podcast. So all these suggestions that I'm giving you today are suggestions that I know help, and suggestions that I have literally witnessed myself, and I know that they work. So if a 7 year olds and 8 year olds can do this just for the fun of it, for the love of it, then you definitely can too. Let's get right into it. All right. So first things first. Number one, when you create a podcast with your kids, or you let your kids create one by themselves, whatever the case may be, one of the main things that I think is really good, it helps to build their confidence in speaking. So when kids are growing up, sometimes they're either shy or scared talking to people or whatever the case may be. I know this because I was that kid. I was so shy and so scared to talk sometimes. I literally used to turn pink in class when a teacher called on me. But if you can start podcasting earlier and start speaking your voice and using your voice and stating your opinions on topics or about things that you learn at an early age, when it comes to you being in that classroom, you're just going to be ready to just express yourself, ready to talk to other people and make some friends. So I really think it's really good for building the confidence of a kid. So that's my number one reason. Number two, it encourages conversations, right? So my good example of this is sometimes it's hard for kids to talk to maybe their own parents about stuff. And this is preferably maybe your teens, your preteens. Sometimes they think it's hard to talk to their parents about stuff because they're like, I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know what they're going to think. Or they're always scared about getting in trouble. Again, from experience, because I was that kid. And, we always don't have parents that's really into communicating. Hell, nobody really knows how to really effectively communicate. But this is something that can help a kid do this early on. Think about it. Why do you think so many kids are on social media? It's how they're expressing themselves. They're expressing themselves. Um, some of them are able to say stuff right in front of the camera when they know, it's just a recording, than they are to say it to their mother's face. Maybe that's how they want to communicate. And learning how to do that on a podcast, it helps you to better communicate with your parents, with your friends, with people you know. And even as you get older, if you have to speak in front of a class, if you have to speak to, your college interest trust, like these are things that really, I think and I know, can definitely help a child when they are growing up. Again, I'm not a parent, and I don't have any kids myself, but again, I worked at a Boys and Girls Club. I witnessed a lot of this stuff happen. I've had parents tell me like how much their kids love doing this stuff. So that's why I say it worked, because I mean, was a part of it. Okay. So number three on my list, let me check, is building research skills early. So that's my number three on the list. So when I was teaching the kids at the Boys and Girls Club how to podcast, there was one podcast that was basically called Clubcast, where I was just teaching them four different ways to create an episode. And then like a storytelling, interview. And then there was another podcast I did with another group of kids, and it's called Two Guys in a Room. And it's basically kind of supposed to be a podcast about the random conversations that happen with kids. But this is something that would be very, unique and very different, and other kids will want to listen to it. So when I say this builds research skills early, this teach kids that the internet is just not Facebook. The internet is just not your next YouTube video. The internet could be used as something that can help you actually learn something. If they learn this at a young age, we already know in the digital age it's not going nowhere. And we are that generation that grew up when the internet was just coming on. So we know how fake information look versus real information look. So it's time to start, teaching your kids that now. And so when they come up with these different topics that they want to talk about, then they get those research skills and they get those Googleologist skills, what I like to call it. And they begin to learn information for themselves, make a decision for themselves instead of just hearing what other people say. This helps. This helps the brain. It helps you develop. It's just a good thing, you guys. Trust me. It's a good thing. So two more things on this list, real quick. I personally think that this is something that gives your child a chance to be on social media anonymously. So if you start on this really early, like at a young age, I would say like my 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds that I taught at the Boys and Girls Club. The fun thing about it that they liked is they were able to be online, be like these audio pros, and they didn't have to use their real names. So a lot of times parents, when they first have kids or when they have their kids in general, they always sway away from really putting their kids online, or they're hiding their face or whatever the case may be. But social media is that social media. But guess what? A podcast can be a form of that too, but it helps your child be able to get into that atmosphere of being online and being on media, but also staying anonymous. So I had my 7 and 8-year-olds actually create DJ names for themselves, and they loved it. One guy, one little boy, he named himself DJ Doge, of the Doge dog that was like an online meme. So when they do that, it teaches them how they can be anonymous but still also have fun and show their voice. Because I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like 9 out of 10 kids all sound the same to me. Maybe that's just me. But it's a really good way for them to be anonymous online. And they can have an Instagram page and create their own little caricature, and it never have to be them. But they can still know how the internet works, how social media works, good and bad, or whatever the case may be. So that's a really good idea to think about. It's fun to like kind of be this other person, DJ such and such, or call me, show enough. I don't know, whatever kids come up with these days. And last but not least, my fifth thing on this list that I think is a really, really good reason why you should start a podcast with your kids today. And this could be you. Give this information to a teacher, a cousin, an auntie that maybe does this stuff, and they could teach the kid how to do it, or maybe the kid want to learn how to do it themselves. But it really enters them into the tech space at an early age. And the reason why I say that is you don't want them to be probably, no offense, you guys, but you're probably the one that's like, I ain't into that technology. I ain't tech savvy. But guess what? COVID done taught you something this year, huh? Because there's a lot of people that was not able to work from home or not able to get that technology popping when they had to start working from home. They didn't own laptops. They didn't know how to work social media. You still got people that don't know how to take the mute off of their Zoom conference. You still have people that don't know how to cut the mute button off on the Zoom meeting. So the technology is there, the information is there, and it's good to get your kids to get to know it now. And I say that because I was that kid. My mama didn't teach me about the internet. Hell, thank God I was on the internet at an early age and I just, watched a lot of Lifetime movies that told me about internet predators. But I was on the internet at a young age and nobody else in my house was. And to this day, it's been about 20, 21 years since I've been online and I have to teach my mama about the internet. Like, you don't want to be that parent. If you're going to have your kid be on the internet, they're going to be on there eventually. You might as well get them started with a podcast so they can get into this space early. Just imagine, oh, I've been podcasting since I was 13 years old. And when they become older and they get jobs or they work and have to do class projects in high school or college, guess what? They can default to a podcast. They can default to knowing how to use their voice or record stuff. Like that's something that you. It's almost like the AV clubs that kids used to have in the 80s and 70s. Like we knew those kids was gonna be on the radio one day, and so this is what podcasting is. And it's real easy. It's real cheap. It's really free to do, and one day they can make money by themselves. One day, you just never know what could come out of it. You just never know what could come out of it. The most important thing is being smart about how you teach your child technology. The internet ain't all bad, y'all. It ain't. I promise you. I promise you. Anyway, thanks for watching this video, guys. Make sure you check out some of my other videos. And I will be back next week. Trying to post every Wednesday, so I guess you can call me Wednesday. Like my cats have wet food Wednesday. But you can call me Wednesday. Every Wednesday I will be dropping a video. Maybe some sporadic Mondays, but every Wednesday you will definitely see a video coming from me. So stay tuned. Share this video. Like it. Add and tag and all that other good stuff. Anyway, thanks you guys. And I am out. It's your girl Prina. All things, no niche.